Chris, it's June 9th, and Friday of last week, we saw a kind of a market puke, if you will, down 2.1% on the index.
Yep.
And yet there's an interesting couple stats that have come out of that day. Help walk me through what JC said.
Yeah, our friend JC Peretz talked about after 9 consecutive weeks of gains and certainly a rally, the S&P fell 2.5% this week, and yet the S&P 500 advanced decline line still rose. Let's unpack that a little further with Matt Seminaro.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I know he worked for Tom Lee for a while at Fundstrat and then had moved on. So in this chart, Matt talks about the number of stocks that were up with the index down. That's what JC means by the advanced decline line. So in other words, the average stock was still going up.
Yeah, 51% of stocks were up,
with the market down 2.1%.
and that is a pretty wild stat.
It tells you how big an effect the largest companies can have, which is interesting because when we started unpacking this further, and I don't have graphics on this, but I mean, this happened in the 90s, like April of 99, when tech stocks just ripped for the rest of the year and other stuff didn't. And it also happened in March of 2000. So like you go from March of 2000 into mid 2001, I mean, financials crushed. We're up like 30%, and yet tech was down like 50% in that time period.
Right.
So we're not drawing a conclusion on what's going to work here. What we are saying, though, is you better know what you own, and you better know why you own it.
Yeah, I think you kept saying this morning as we were talking about this, it kind of points to the possibility of rotation. And so your idea of knowing what you own, or at least paying attention as things continue to develop, is going to be a paramount part of the informed diversification.
Yeah, I mean, if this is 98 and we're going through some volatility, I mean, there could be some good ahead for tech. I mean, clearly there's positive earnings. There's still a capital expenditure cycle. You don't know, but obviously tech was down, and that's why stocks were down 2.1%, and yet 51% of stocks were up. It means the other stuff was up.
Working, right?
Yeah. So, rotation's happening. It's important to know what you own.